This is Andy Miller's office, 712 West Algonquin Place, Kenoka, Washington, 99336. We have this beautiful elevator. And this is the laptop that's been damaged. You know, this is the third one. is 1991, the Washington Appellate Courts, which is State versus Wasson. This is Swanson. S2W app 186-813-P2D614. Footnotes omitted. In addition, court stated that the clear and every factor listened to Ryan's needs to satisfy before court would be need a child hearsay statement reliable under child victims hearsay statute. RCW 9A44.12 Swan at 652, State of Borland 557 at 720, 7862, 810 review denied. The trial court considered Ryan factors and remember. Statutes. This is the Washington State respondent versus Hector Garcia Liu. State Wash respondent Mario Magna Appellate. Some more intel information. Delayed entry of finding on fact. Appellate also contends the trial court decision should reverse delayed entry to findings of facts and conclusion law and prosecution in the case. Delayed entry, the ability to clear names as soon as possible. State versus Bennett, 6-2 appellate. This is number 6-2, 1991. Washington appellate reports. Some more info. Some research on Mr. George V. Heller. Research on Potter versus Wilbur Ellis Company. Some Garfer versus Department of Licensing. Some research on Mr. Appellate, the Department of Licensing. The statute of value, presumption, and burden of proof. Law Enforcement Authority of Jurisdiction Statute Provision, Department of Licensing. Law Enforcement Authority out of Jurisdiction Statute, Department of Licensing. Judgment, Reconsideration, Evidence Discrimination Court. Intoxication, liquors, on board, driving while intoxicated, advisement of rights, counsels, consequencing, continuing on attorney's timely arrival at trial, Department of Licensing. Well, actually, Department of Licensing. That's 62WAPP 870816P266. 62 on the 1991 Washington Appellate Courts. We'll do some research on number 8. This is 62 1991, 62 Washington State Appellate Court review. The Department of Licensing responded. The respondent is Department of Licensing here in Kendall, Arizona, Pasco. This is Kendall, Clearwater, and also Fredo, Washington, which is Dano Garth, prosecutor, and Jennifer, the staff member, and also at Taylor and also Carmen and Andy Miller here at 712-112 this department. The laptop that's on the desk now, which is the appeal process Department of Licensing, is here in 1991. Some research number 62. The statute of validity, presumption, burden proof, the law enforcement authority jurisdiction, statutory provision, validity, RCW 10.93.100701. Law enforcement authority jurisdiction statutory provision written consent proof. That's RCW 10.93.10.0701. Judgment reconsidered evidence of discretion of court. Intoxicating liquor, automobiles, driving while intoxicated, advisement rights, rights of counsel, continuing attorney's timely arrival. This is a pillar. And this is the burden proof with a laptop connected to these LG monitors with a Philips CD DVD player or remote with Skype for business at 12:34 a.m. Huh? This is a Skype business here. The monitors.
So it would be completely unprecedented for
Yeah, Frank, I'm over at the Andy Miller's office. He got a bunch of sheriffs harassing me. I'm inside. They wouldn't give them information, just jump in the vehicle and ran off. They go into jail and act like they're hard asses, like they run property at the funeral home and then here. I don't give them information, they just take off. And anyways, I don't give them information until you show up and they run off. He comes there with his gun and his taser. I shoved the taser up his ass. I took the gun and threw the bullets on the street. And they keep on provoking problems, but I sit here and they just take off, right? I'll schedule about 2 hours out, so if this happens again, they'll probably just run off anyways, because I don't do nothing. They like snitching, telling on people. Okay. It's for somebody else. For somebody else. I'm gonna fill it out for her.
Okay. These will go back in the admin. I'll go to the okay. And I'll be back.
This has the fuel card dispenser every time you filled up. I'll fill that.
I can check for you. Can I let her know who's calling? Let me see if she's in.
It says Anderson on it, field completion. It says the farm and the ranch and the farm was caught on fire.
Hi, Kristen. I have Katie Harkins on
We
the
caught
line.
the Cimaron 5 on fire. We caught Sean Logan's our property on fire. It's because he was raping her and stuff. And then Chevron on across from John Deere Evergreen, called John Deere Evergreen. Now it's called RDO. So the guns, they're on the highway and stuff where I walked. I didn't pick any of the guns, put them in my pocket like everyone else did. So I'm going to throw this out and this out. Probably good.
Prosecutor's office, how may I direct your call? Okay, can I let him know who's calling? All right, let me see if he's in for you. He is not answering. Would you like his voicemail? Okay, there you go. No, it's all right. So felony gets 2. Oh, okay. Sweet. Thank you. Go.
You're welcome.
Prosecutor's office, can we direct your call? Yeah, one moment. Still no rules from Andrew, so what did you rush him? Was it 2? 3 or due at 5. Okay. Zoe Scudder, I converted into PDF. I had Brandon fixed it. I was hoping Andrew would sign it really quickly for court, but he didn't, so. Okay. Zoe Scudder's pretty much done. It's just the other 2, the Diego Dominguez and he didn't say anything to me before he left. So when it comes to like around 3 o'clock or something, I haven't got anything. I know he's in court. I'll call the message and ask him. Prosecutor's office. How can I direct your call? I'm ready to help.
Yeah.
If I have to rush you.
Yeah. Just let me know or send it.
Yeah. Which one? I told you now.
Prosecutor's office, let me direct your call.
Okay. What is the name of the defendant on your case?
What
So,
kind of case
the
is
person
it?
who is in the case again. Yeah.
Driving infraction. I'll put you through to Marla. One moment.
Okay. Yeah, let me transfer you to Lisa.
You're welcome.
Prosecutor's office, you may direct your call. Let me check for you. One moment. She did not pick up. Would you like her voicemail? Okay. Bye-bye.
Is Lonnie here?
Huh?
Is Lonnie here?
No. Not yet.
So I got the original on the laptop, the receipts, the original on the
Okay.
whatever and Taylor, your sheriff, and also what's his name? What's it? U.S. Marshal. Payment. This original document. Whatever I type on it. No, I didn't do that. I just found it.
I think there's supposed to be a victim's coordinator here.
Yes. I'll let her know that you're here.
I have the message.
Thank you.
Across the street, Cimaron 5, Cimaron 5, and across the street's Ocha Waters. It's Waters, and then Olympia, Jim Logan, right across the street. They said everybody was in the backyard. Everyone that built that house across the street on Olympia was going in my yard, and you're going in my shed, and then you go on. But anyways, I'm not the one that points and tells and gets an affidavit, go to department licensing, points and went out. I'll do that. I got the original document.
Prosecutor's office, how may I direct your call?
Do you want me to make a copy of it?
I already paid for it.
Okay.
I paid for it to do it on that. Charged $55 and then another 10 cents of tax. Leisure tax gone up. So the software and this thing here activated all your systems. I had to sit out there and activate it.
Okay.
The visual on it, whatever that, well, that's a drone. So when I'm in George Washington's house, sitting down, it processes all the information. Once I was little, coming in the Social Security office, on Gageable, and then come on other side of Gageable, and then the other post on Klamath. So it sits there and then you got this guy in my face.
Okay.
Are we good? Yeah. This is the 62, number 62, 1991. This is the review for the Power Watch Tape palette. This is Watch the Palette Reports, 1960, and this is 1990, number 62. Court of Appeals on the matter defendant Watch State Respondent Timothy Surtz. State of Washington Respondent is Dina Schultz. Court of Rules, court construction considers inconsistent courts are inconsistent when they are not ethical, impossible to each of them to be effective. Judgment summary, burden of moving party, absence of factual issuance. These cases, they have several cases here on the case reports. They got the table of contents, the judges and officers in the Court of Appeals, the Justice and Supreme Court judges, Superior Court, tables of cases reported, Court of Appeals, unreported opinions. They also have Justice of the Supreme Court of that year, Court of Appeals of Washington, that's Honorable Joseph Coleman, Presiding Chief Judge, Honorable C. Kenneth Gross, Honorable Jack G. Shuffle, Honorable Walter E. Webster, Honorable Roswell Pickles, Honorable Marshall Forrest, Honorable William W. Baker, Faye C. Kennedy, Susan R. Agid, Honorable Stanley Warswick, Judge Page, Gary Axler, J. Dean Morgan. That's the Court of Appeal Washington, the Honorable Joseph Copeland, Presiding Chief Justice at the time being. Division 2, that's Division 2. Stanley Warswick, John Petrick, Gary Glangster, Dean Morgan. District 3 is Honorable Dale H. Green, Honorable Ray E. Mudson, Honorable Philip J. Thomas, Honorable George T. Shields, Division 3. William E. Ellis, Jr. was Court Commissioner in Division 1. Mary Ellen Hudgen, Court Commissioner in Division 1. Julie A. Kessler, Court Commissioner in Division 1. Mark E. Adams, Court Commissioner, Division 2. Donald G. Manth, Court Commissioner, Division 2. Kenneth E. Cato, Court Commissioner, Division 3. Frank Slack, Jr., Commissioner, Division 3. Justice Supreme Court was Honorable Fred H. Dorr, Chief Justice. Honorable Robert F. Hutter, Justice. Honorable Robert F. Brandenbach. Honorable James M. Dolliver. Honorable James A. Anderson. Honorable Barbara Durham. Honorable Charles Z. Smith. Honorable Richard P. Guy. Honorable Charles W. Johnson. Washington Appellate Courts is a second series. Washington Appellate Courts is Court of Appeals. This is second series, number 6, the Washington Appellate Reports. And this is Washington Appellate Reports, Volume 6, 2D, Courts of Appeal, Washington, November 1st, 2018, December 27, 2018. Samuel C. Thompson. Honorable Mary E. Firecrest, Chief Justice, Honorable Charles E. Johnson, Justice, Supreme Court. Honorable James Berlin, Judge, Court of Appeals. Samuel C. Thomas, Reporter of Decisions. Robert Meade, Law Librarian. Kyle Thiessen, Code Revisor. Bruce Gardner, State Bar Recipient. Catherine W. Smith, State Bar Representative. Judges of Courts Appeals. Justice Supreme Court, Justice Superior Court, Table of Cases, Opinion Court of Appeals. Court of Appeals of Washington is Marlon J. Applewick, Chief Justice, Division 1. Mary K. Becker, Judge. Mary K. Becker, Judge. Honorable Anne Schleiner, Judge. Stephen Durr, Judge, Division 1. James Varlin, Judge, Division 1. David S. Mann. Honorable Beth M. Ardress. Honorable Laurie M. Smith. Honorable John H. Chun. Division 2 is Honorable Bradley A. Maxman, Chief Judge. Honorable Lisa R. Warswick Thompson, 2. Honorable Jill M. Johnson, Judge. Honorable Thomas R. Bargergen. Honorable Linda C.J. Lee, Division 2. Honorable Rich Manlick. Honorable Lisa L. Sutton. Division 3 is Honorable Robert Lawrence Berry. Division 3 is Honorable Kevin M. Corsmo. Honorable Laura Ascendo. Division 3 is Honorable Laura Ascendo. Honorable George E. Fearing. Honorable Rebecca L. Pennell, Judge, for Division 3. Justice Supreme Court is Mary E. Farquhar, Chief Justice. Honorable Charles E. Johnson, Justice Department. Honorable Barbara A. Madsen. Honorable Susan Owens, Justice. Honorable Terrell L. Steffens, Justice. Honorable Charles K. Wiggins, Justice. Stephen C. Gonzalez, Justice. Honorable Shirley Garden McLeod, Justice. Honorable Mary I. Yu, Justice. Adams County is Honorable Stephen B. Dixon, Ritzville. Austin Columbia Garfield is Honorable Scott D. Giglia, Austin. Ben Franklin is Honorable Joseph A. Barrows. Honorable X. Estwin. Honorable Charmin Mitchell. Honorable Carrie A. L. Roan. Honorable Jacqueline Shea Brown. Honorable Bruce A. Spanner. Honorable Samuel P. Swanberg. Kennewick. We just left Andy Miller's office at 712 West Oregon. We're outside. My computer's in Andy Miller's office, so we have this manifest record here. It's don't have no traffic, no violations, no criminal record, and no, I definitely have no nothing to nobody. Like at Department of Vehicles, when I'm sitting at my Department of Vehicles, standing actually at Department of Licensing in Prada, here in Tri-Clearwater, and also the Adams County, and also Grant County. That's the City Hall where Miller's Jewelry. That's Mr. and Mrs. Well, of course. That is the service for Andy Miller's, and that's Miller's Jewelry in Moses Lake. And that's Todd Levette and Amber. And they have this awesome service that they have at the Department of License for when your abstract record pulls up an abstract record on it. Shows judges, superior courts, and the closing dates of the volume. Shows the closing date and volume. Ben and Franklin is Joseph E. Barrows, Alex Ashton, Honorable Carmen Mitchell, Honorable Carrie L. Roan, Honorable Jacqueline Shea Brown, Honorable Bruce A. Spanner, Honorable Samuel P. Swanberg. And that's Stephanie Jordan Main at the Division and Broadway in Moses Lake, Washington, with a 4-door SUV Trailblazer with Stephanie Main Jordan Swanberg from Fair Washington. And that's Daniel Carth at Daniel Carth Administration Office, and then the courtroom, and also the accident report and the collision report where I was hit and ran over that crosswalk. And pedestrians have the right of way. And Mr. Swanberg, Samuel Swanberg, has says Honorable Christian, has Honorable Samuel P. Swanberg at the bottom. It says Kennewick, Washington. And the Department of License is upstairs, and they're processing information on the first and last of the Social Security Office at 8131 Klamath, and also Social Security Office that's on Gage Boulevard. 2 different locations on Gage, and then the third time is on Klamath, 8131 Klamath, Cincinnati. Now King County has Honorable Veronica Alicia Galvin, Seattle. Honorable Chad Calvary. Honorable Susan H. Ammer. Honorable John Bender, Seattle, Washington. King County. Honorable Monica J. Benton, Honorable Elizabeth J. Burns, Honorable Bill Bowen, Honorable Timothy A. Bradshaw, Honorable Regina C. Sean, Honorable Cheryl B. Curry, Honorable James D. Casey, Honorable Susan J. Cranhag, Honorable Andrea A. Darvis, Honorable J. Mitchell Diaz, Honorable Karen M. Donahue, Karen M. Donahue, Honorable Teresa B. Dow, Honorable John P. Ellick, Honorable Marshall F. Ferguson, Honorable Nicole Gaines Phelps, Honorable Julie L. Garrett, Honorable Janet M. Helson, Honorable Laura C. Everson David, Honorable David S. Kennan, Honorable Dean Scott Loon, Honorable Barbara A. Mack, Honorable Leroy McCall, Honorable John F. McHale, Honorable Maureen McCaffey, Honorable Catherine L. Moore, Honorable Douglas A. North, Honorable Sean Patrick O'Donnell, Honorable Patrick H. Osei, Honorable Susan Person, Honorable Mafi Rahu, Honorable Judith M. Ramsey, Honorable Kristen V. Richardson, Honorable Jean A. Ritchell, Honorable Mary E. Roberts, Honorable Jim Rogers Robert, Honorable Roger Rogoff, Honorable Stephen B. Rawson, Honorable Everett Brothwick, Honorable John R. Raw, Honorable J. Wesley St. Clair, Honorable Ken Shepard, Honorable Michael R. Scott, Honorable Catherine D. Schaefer, Honorable Julie A. Spector, Honorable Tanya Thorpe, Honorable Sandra E. Edwin, Honorable Matthew E. Williams, Honorable Melinda J. Young. And this is the King County, Seattle, Washington Judges Superior Courts. Benton County has Franklin County. Benton County and Franklin, Joseph M. Barrows, Kennewick. Honorable Alex Ickerson, Kennewick, Washington. Honorable Carmen Mitchell, Honorable Carrie L. Rung, Honorable Jacqueline Shea Brown, Honorable Bruce E. Spanner, Samuel P. Swanberg. Cases reported, which is cases reported is ADDA INC Group LLC Defense Film, Admiral Way LLC AM International Specialty Lines INC, Admiral Way LLC AM, Aloha versus Department of Labor and Industries, OHA Construction INC versus City of Moxie, Aldrich and Marriage of, Alexandra and Marriage of, Alan, Dan, and Bill RV Park, Allen and Zonas, Allery Posthumous Review, Alvarez State versus AM Hotel Lodging Association versus City of Seattle.
All the way to the end, and then they'll be
International Specialty Lines, Core Admiral Way LLC, AM Special Lines, Coal Lender Industries, Anderson McColl, Anderson State versus Angus State, AP Partnering in Support of Apple King, ARP and versus Raleigh, AS State versus Askin Friends Bank Associates International Group LLC, Babe State, Bagley Munns, Turner LLC, Spencer versus Basins versus Taylor, Baker Boyer National Bank and Frost, Bargain State versus Buff State versus Bellingham Square LLC, Whole Foods Market Foods, Ferguson versus Zebrano, Zebra Tex Yachts, Woods and Mechanic INC, Boge and Marriage, Bahana State versus Bracken Milcanis versus Brennett State versus Brennett versus Resistant of Brevis Consultant LC State versus Bruto Persistent Restraints of Bucker versus Pasco School District, Bergstrom versus Bush State versus Butcher State versus CAC Department Detention of CLL State versus Carmen Ralston versus Carroll, and re-persistent review of Cassidy Guardianship Services Dispute in Social and Health Services, Castillo Vasquez State versus CC and Detent of Kappa State versus CF State versus Capero State versus Cone a remarriage of Child versus Department of Health, City of East Wenatchee Sheets, City of Kirtland versus Rite Aid Corporation, City of Kirtland versus Rite Aid Corporation, City of Moxie, City of Seattle Hotel Lodging Association versus City of Seattle Gamble versus State of Sonoma versus Pension Plan and Tri, City of Sultan Neighbors Assistance Annexing versus City of Tacoma West versus City of Tumwater Sunrises versus Coleman State versus Conway State versus Cook State versus Cortez Mendez State, Kutch State versus Curacao State versus Critchfield State versus Cross and Town and Malden, Cruz State versus Cunningham versus Department of Social Health Services, Dan and Bill's RV Arcs Allen State versus District State, Demon State, Dutch Department of Health Tonson, Labor Industries, Department of Labor Industries Lance Douglas, Department of Labor Industries in Polk INC, Department of Labor Industries Power City Electric versus Department of Labor INC Richard versus Department of Revenue Every Payments INC, Department of Social Health Service Cascade Guardianship Service versus Department of Social Service Health Service Cunningham versus Department of Social Services Heard versus Department of Social Health Services versus FW, Department of Social Health Services versus JJJ, Department of Self Services versus Pedron, District State versus Ditchpin LLC ADDAI Investment, Dotson Pierce County Planning, Douglas County and Marlow, Desi State, Durr State, DW Detention of DWC State versus Eagle State versus East Wenatchee City Sheets versus EJ Party Support of Apple King, Espadole versus Apple King, Estate Sullivan Stafford Health Services, Everett Hanger Owners Association Berry Payments Department of Revenue, Fireside Bank of Excellence, Fort Baker Boyer National Bank, Ferry Superior Restraints of Fuji Foods, INC, Occidental LLC, FW Department of Social Service, Fuji Foods, INC versus Occidental LLC, Gamble versus City of Seattle, Gamble versus City of Seattle, JB Dependency of GR Department of Social Service Health Services, Port Safe Acquisitions LLC versus Godfrey versus Confield, Godfrey versus Mitchell's Wine Estates Ltd, Gomez Rios State versus Gonzalez State versus Goodman Parson versus Gold Miles versus Garlia Reyes State versus Graham and Marcos, Green State versus GRJS, Parnell Rights versus Hillsville State, Hall State versus Hangfield King County versus Harness State versus Harzell Thomas versus Health Department of Chow, Health Department of Townsend versus Heard and Department of Social Services, Hernandez State versus Harry State, Hicks versus Pre-Restraints of Hill Sager, Hill State, HNAK Dependencies, Holcomb State, the Dependents of GB, the Dependents of HHA, HKF, Dependency of JEJ, Dependency of SDM, Dependency UDW, Dependency of CAC, Dependent CC, Detention of DW, Detention of OM, Detention of PP, Detention of Reamer, Detention of Orlocks, and Estates of Sullivan, Guardianships of Nicholson, a marriage of Aldrich, the marriage of Alexander, marriage of Dubodge, marriage of Chow, marriage of Lanford, marriage of McCleeskey, marriage of Misk, marriage of Oski, Marriage of Richard, Marriage of Rudwick, Marriage of Snyder, Marriage of Telmaki, Parents' Rights of GRJS. Key State versus Canal General Hospital. Canal General Hospital, Canal versus Seattle Mum, current kilos 6 owner association Everett Hangers. Now the 6 kilos of the owners association over 2.2 pounds is a kilo. King County, Hanfield, King Court, City of Rite Aid Corporation, State versus Clemson Worksman, Knights of Paris Restraints, enters a K enters LLC, Labor and Industries Department, Labor and Industries Department of Lance, Labor and Industries Department of Pocatello, Labor of Industries Power City Electorate, Labor and Industry Department of Richards, Lacey Tiller, Langley Marriage, Lance Douglas Dibber,
Trying to get that for you. How you doing?
Liquor Industries and Special Lines, Liquor Lines, Virginia Sur, Liquor INC, IMS, Limit State, Lewis State, Light State, Leonard State, Lopez Cassia State, Maggie Aldi and Heights of Elsa, Malden, Town of Cross, Mailing State versus Margaret Douglas County, Market State, Martin Percent State of McCarthy State of Market State of McCarthy State, Pussy Remarriage Anderson, Morgan State, Milligan Saginaw Mendez State, Murkison versus Bracken, Milk Marriage, Miles Gold, Miners Per Restraint of Moore State, Moxie City of Construction of INC versus Munn Erikson versus No State, Neighbors Against Annex and City of Sultan, Neighbors Against Annex of Snohomish County, Boundary Review, Nergo State versus Nickerson Guardianship of Nielsen Potato Patch LLC versus Nobrick State, Occidental LLC Fuji Foods INC, Shorewood Heights LLC and Maggie, Olive Marriage and Olympia Restraints, Parsons Goods, Parsons Restraints of Partial State, Pasco School District, Brucker versus Peregrine Department of Social Services, Concrete Cutting, Breaking INC, Perry State, Peterson Restraints of Peterson State, Professor Restraints of Phillips State, Pierce County Planning Land Service Department, Dotson versus Pierce County Spice, Penner Resistance, PNC Bank National Association Reeves, Special Loan Services LLC, Pole State Farms, Potato Patch LLC versus Nelson, Public Department of Labor Industries, Power and Electric, Labor and Industries, Procut Concrete Cutting, Breaking INC, Raymond Restraints, Quintana State versus Reeves, PNC Bank National Association versus Reminder Department of Revenue Department of Payments INC, Robin H. Tanner, Richard Marriage, State of Richard Department of Labor Industries, Rite Aid Corporation, City of Kirtland, Robert Jacobs, Pierce Restraints of, Rosa Burns State, Boston Carmen, RRG, Welfare of Ruddick Marriage of, Restraints of, Restraining Brother, Safe Acquisition LLC, GF Prutz, Sager Hill, Sager Mena, Sager State, Schiller State versus Swart State, SDF Dependency of Seattle of AM Hotel Lodging Association versus CLC Gamble versus Seattle Munn Court Condell versus Sheets of City East Wenatchee versus Shoemaker versus Shoemaker, Schumberger State versus Smith State, Snyder and Marriage, Smith City of Pension Play, Neighbors Against Annex, Social Health Service Department Cunning, Health Service Department HERD, Social Service and FFW, Social Service Department GER, Social Service JJJ, Civil Service at Pegron, Seymour State, Specialized Loan Services LCC, Spencer Johnson. Spencer versus Bagley Mullins Turner, Spice Pierce County, Stafford Health Services State, Sullivan State Farm Fire Gas and Company, State versus Alvarez, State versus Anderson, State versus Anguson, State AS, State versus Bebb, State versus Berger, State versus Bay, State versus Bell, State versus Bolaños. State versus Brand, State versus Brothers Consultant, State versus Burke, State versus Bush, State versus Butcher. State versus Colocus, State versus CP, State versus FCP, State versus Capero, State versus Coleman, State versus Coleman, State versus Cook, State versus Cortez Munduz, State versus Couch, State versus Kurzweil, State versus Kirschfield, State versus Cruz, State versus Davis, State versus Delphi, State versus Demon, State versus Defu, State versus Delca, State versus Dornet, State versus DWC. State versus Eagle, State versus Flair, State versus Gomez, State versus Gonzalez, State versus Gaudero Reyes, State versus Green, State versus Halfield, State versus Hall, State versus Harness, State versus Hernandez, State versus Hire, State versus Jackson, State versus Johnson, State versus Carnes, State versus Key, State versus KDM, State versus Clemsman, State versus Leadwood, State versus Limited Landmarks, and Light.
Oh, yeah.
State versus Perry, State versus Peters, State versus Peterson, State versus Phillips, State versus Pry, State versus Quintina, State versus Russell, State versus Richard, State versus Richard, State versus Rasa Arian, State versus Schultz, State versus Vasquez versus Schwartz, State versus Shubakana, State versus Smith, Summer, Tad, State versus Talveri, State versus Thacker, State versus Tembix, State versus Tiviute, State versus Toro, State versus Trey versus Turner, State versus Turner, State versus Tyler, State versus Albina, State versus Wallmuller, State versus Whitaker, State Williams, State Winter, State versus Yates, State versus Westmore, State versus Biswell, State versus Michelle Wines of State Ltd. Godfrey, Sullivan State Stanford Health Services, Sullivan versus the State, Sullivan City Neighbors Against Annex, Summit Mountain Commodity of Landslide Awareness versus Washington State Forest Practices, Sunrise Ridge Highlands, Summers Hill Homeowner Association City Tumwater, Tacoma City of West versus Tad State versus Taylor State versus Taylor Baines versus Tecumseh Marriage versus Thacker State, Thurgan State, Thomas Hartwell, Thompson's Province Review, Thompson's 8 Props, Taylor Leckie in the State of Thompson Water, Sunrise Ridge Highlands, Summerus Homeowners Association, Turks United States Auto Association, Turner State, 20th Over Publication LC, Turn Tally Public LC, Tyler State, Dependency of Arbina State, Virginia Electrical Industry USA versus Walmart State, Washington State Forest Practice B, Summons Mountain Community Landslide Awareness, west of City Tacoma versus Whitaker State versus Whole Foods Market Pace Northwest, Bellevue Square LLC versus Williams State versus Woodfree State versus Witherspoon Parish Restraints, Worksman Luxembourg, W State versus Yates States, State Woods McDonald Bloom, Association Yates State, Zonesman, Zabrana Jurgensen, Admiral Way LLC, CO Lenore Industries USA, Zillary State versus. These Court of Appeals of Washington State, Washington, November 5th, 2008. State of Washington Respondents, John Allen Whitaker, Appellate, Criminal Law trial instructions sufficient to test criminal jury instructions sufficient for permanent both state and definite argue the theories in the case do not mislead the jury when reading whole properly informed jury applicable law. Criminal law, criminal instruction, source instruction, standard review, appellate review for abuse of discretion trial, court decisions whether to give the particular instruction criminal trial. The trial court refuses to give their particular instruction abuse discretion only in its decision. Criminal law diffuse statute provision RCW 9A.16.10 defense tertiary revised common law and its premise notion to exclude persons to break the law in person and compel to do threaten and intimidate death or serious bodily injury, person faced with danger to the personal safety and others, person excused to choose lesser and even in the crime unless the crimes involves killing innocent persons or never lesser than 2 evils. Court of Appeals of Washington. Criminal law defeats applicable for permanent crime charged with purpose RCW 9A16.10 defense of jurors. Crimes defended which of the juror defense applied that came which the defendant is being prosecuted. Criminal laws decrees aggravated the first degree murder. Aggravated under RCW 9A.16.106 jury defense aggravated factor alleges support of charge where aggravated first degree murder and defendant is not prosecuted for those factors as separate crimes.